get ready for one more sale. Inspiring you with ideas through powerful and engaging interviews with top performers of their field. Now, join us as we discuss techniques and strategies of the coolest and most successful people on the planet.
Check out our sponsors, Direct Mortgage Loans. Listen, these guys are committed. They provide outstanding service. I know personally because I work with them. They are also licensed in 22 states, so make sure you check them out and see if they can do work with you. Listen, they not only will take amazing care of your clients, they're based on building lifelong relationships with our buyers, our sellers, as well as us as realtors. They're looking for partners, and they're providing the best resources, training, and knowledge the industry has to offer. So if you're interested in partnering up with somebody that's really innovative, check them out. Their website is directmortgageloans.com, or you can reach them at 888-604-2525. It's David Hill here with one more sale. Path to Mastery Podcast episode, guys, number 36. And you know I love doing this. I love this job, interviewing the coolest people. And as always, I'm looking for the best of the best. No exception this week, guys. We have a local agent, though, a special treat for me. I know her well, Jessica Starr from Hartford, Connecticut. And listen to this. Not only is her team doing over $50 million in volume, I saw her about 3 weeks ago on Facebook that she just added number 100, the 100th person to her downline. And I'll tell you, it's just amazing. And after talking to her, she doesn't even consider it adding to their downline. She just considers coming from contribution, getting in relationships with people, sharing with people. And then when the timing's right, if the timing's right, then people will consider talking to Jessica and they'll look at Keller Williams as an option. So it's so amazing. And I'll tell you what, profit share is just a gift that keeps giving, because it's that money that shows up every month in your mailbox. You don't have to think about it. It just shows up, and it's only because we get to give. So she did an amazing job, role play for us, told us how she goes about this. It's just a great interview. She talks about being purposeful, coming from contribution, sharing stories of success. Interview's amazing. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it. And please, if you enjoy it, I ask you to just do me a favor. Please share it with someone else, and then it really, really helps if you go to iTunes and just subscribe to our podcast. If you subscribe, it makes all the difference in the world. So if you're willing to do that, hey, if you love it, I so appreciate it. Send me some email. Best way to get me is on Facebook. Enjoy. Hey, Masters, it's David Hill here with one more sale, Path to Mastery. And today, I am with a good friend of mine, local agent right here in my region, just a real rock star, man. She's just really killing it. Been in the business since, her name's Jessica Starr, by the way. Hey, Jess, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. It's always great to hear from you. And I know you've been in the business for 14 years. So you started selling real estate when you were about 5 is what I'm taking. And you've got a team where you guys, I think you're on track to do 200 units, 52 million. So congratulations on that. Those are great numbers. And the thing that really triggered this call as well, beyond your production, was profit share. Because I noticed on Facebook that you had just got your 100th person in your downline. So congrats on that. That is phenomenal.
Thank you. I'm super, super passionate about it. And I think what really matters is that we get to help people change their lives.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So before we get into that, fill in some of the gaps on yourself, your business, and all that.
Okay. Well, I formed a team at the end of 2010, just after I had come to Keller Williams. I had a big track record of having some major life events happening while I'd been at Keller Williams. So my business doubled the first year. It went up 114%, and we've been doubling year over year. So that's a great thing. Our team is just super passionate. We're family-oriented. We're big-time Bold fans, multiple times over, and, just always learning-based. So, that's a little bit about my team and I, and we're just kind of like I would assume everybody else. Maybe I shouldn't. However, we just love making people's dreams come true.
Awesome. Good stuff. So when you say your team doubled year over year, I mean, that's obviously the ideal path. So first off,
Right.
how did you do that? Like, what led to that?
Well, I think sometimes we are given some life challenges, and because of them, it makes our why get that much bigger. And so, I'll tell you a little quick story. About 4 months after I was with Keller Williams Realty, I got a call one morning. I'm getting my 2 sons ready. The day before, I found out I was pregnant with our 3rd child, and no one else knew. And my husband called me at about 8 o'clock in the morning. When he gave me the call, he sounded very, very off. And all of a sudden, I heard in the background, "Sir, do you know your name? Do you know where you are? Don't move." And he tells me he had a fall 16 feet out of a firehouse ceiling. Oh, wow. And was being rushed to the hospital. So that was 4 months after I had been in. Needless to say, he broke his back and was out of work for a year. And so I became the mama bear and formed my team. It became a need, very urgent. It's kind of like that bold story that they tell us, if your family was in a burning building across the way, would you go? Or would you go for $5 across the way to the skyscraper, on the tightrope?
Yeah.
So I ran that tightrope, which, it was as scary of a time as it was for us. It was also one of those life-changing moments that I know some people don't have a ton. We've had multiple, and we're very fortunate to have them because they've all led to great things and very stressful at the time. However, because of it, it made us form the team. It gave us the option to have my husband stay home and so many wonderful things. So that year, because of all the business that I ended up doing, I literally doubled it. And so we needed to form the team. The systems and leverage needed to be put in place so that I could be home. He was in a hospital bed for weeks in our living room, and we had 2 little boys, and I was pregnant. So, huge things that were wonderful in the end.
Well, good for you, my friend. I know sometimes, and it's a great message for all of our listeners that, sometimes when we're in the middle of that adversity or things just aren't going the way we had hoped, or something happens, and I'm grateful that things have worked out for you, Jessica, and your family. I'm really happy to hear that. And, but that is sometimes the difference maker when we really need to step up and figure things out. And that can make all the difference in the world. I hear so many stories like that. So thanks for sharing that.
Oh, my pleasure.
So let's talk about, the profit sharing, which obviously at Keller Williams, we call it the gift that keeps on giving, right? So when I saw you at 100, I've been in the business 12 years now. Man, I'm embarrassed to say. I shouldn't say I'm embarrassed to say. I don't have near that. So that really, to me, struck a chord, and I'm like, wow, I'm impressed with that. So tell us how tell us about profit share first, and then I'd love to know how you were able to achieve that.
Well, the funny thing is, when I had come to KW, the difference from being at Prudential, which I had been at before, to this company was just unbelievable. I was able to get my life back. I made every baseball game, and now I have 4 kids and birthday party, and that's a huge feat. And it was all because of the systems and education and time blocking. So I became super passionate about my experience and just wanted to share it with as many people as I could because I knew it was a better way to enjoy life and to be with your family. And family is just so very important, as is health. And when we don't have those 2 things, everything we do doesn't matter, because we can't be there for the ones we love or make the memories with the ones we love. So I really came from a place of contribution and wanting to share my story with other people. They saw my success, especially the first year. And so I used a lot of social media and Facebook to connect with other local agents and brokers and just form the relationships that way. And then, eventually would set up appointments to meet and that kind of thing. And now I've been super purposeful about it too. So some people take a while, others don't. I know it took me 5 years to decide that this was the best option for me. So the downline, I see it more as an opportunity to help people change their lives as opposed to what's in my pocket. And so I think the reason I've been successful with it is because even people that are within my downline, luckily I have a lot of them at my own market center. So I take the time to reach out to them and give them some coaching and tips and advice to try to guide them to build theirs because it helps all of us. So I'm the first one to jump in when I know that they're trying to help somebody else change their life. And I love to share my story. So the nice thing is people, I think, can relate to it. So it's just really forming the relationship first. And obviously, I'm very relationship driven. And then just being there for someone, sometimes they're just not ready. It's not necessarily the right time, or they don't think it's the right fit until they either see a system or the education or see somebody's life change and realize that they might want that same thing for themselves.
All right, so Jess, that is awesome. And it sounds like to me, not just being purposeful, which we're going to talk about, because I want our listeners to understand the difference between someone that's, just thinking, okay, yeah, I'll add somebody to my downline, and then someone that's being purposeful. But you're really coming from a place of, hey, I love my company. I want to help you. I want to give you the best opportunities. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's exactly. And to be honest with you, the last year I've gotten very purposeful about my calendar and all back to the time blocking again. And I've made it a part of my business plan. I have a goal to attract a certain number of people, whether it's in my first line or throughout my downline, a month. And what I do is I keep a standing appointment every Friday at 8:00 to meet somebody for coffee or, even if it's quick in the office, whichever they want to do. Just to start the relationship.
So is that one person on Friday, or do you meet with multiple people on Fridays?
If I can do multiple, I do. Usually it's a minimum of one.
So simply one a week. That's it.
Uh-huh.
Love it. So and any of us can do that, right? One appointment a week. I love that. That's awesome.
I figure if you take one appointment, even if it's just a half an hour, that half an hour can be so purposeful and impactful. And usually when I meet with the people, I sit down and I say, hey, how's your business going? What's it look like? And try to come from contribution and fill a need for them. So I listen to their story, and I listen to whether they're saying they have no time with their family, or whether they're saying, they're running crazy and they don't have this system set up, or they need extra help. So I can give them some guidance once I truly take the time to just listen and say, hey, we've got great courses here at Keller Williams. Come to career visioning, then you're going to know how to hire the right person instead of going through people, or I can give them tips on come to this class at the Market Center because we've actually got time blocking options, or even sit down and just do it with them. And then I just stay present and I make sure we're friends on Facebook. I communicate with them, multiple times a week, whether it's, just posting a comment on their status update or sending them a private message or giving them a call. I usually do all of the above. So, I want to be first, I guess, what friend of mine, I should say, to them too. So the good thing is anybody that's in my personal downline, there's never been a question of who their sponsor is either.
That's a great point. And what I'm hearing too, and what I know from experience is now this is actually part of my role is just meeting with talent and always getting these conversations. It's just about creating that relationship such that when they are thinking about making a move or maybe ready, then you're at least the one they consider. Is that accurate as well?
That's exactly it. And, this is a pretty good testament as well. I've had a few people that I've sat with to talk about coming to KW or to help them, change their business model or their mindset or whatever it might be. Some of these people even got out of the business. They were realtors. The nice thing about it, because I treated them with kindness, when they got out of the business and they needed to sell a house and they had referrals, my team and I were the ones that they referred, and we weren't even at the same company.
Love that. Yeah, love that. Now, when did you become when did you say, you know what? I mean, you're crushing it on your team. So great work with that. And I know you personally, and you're probably like, yeah, I'm not even close to where I need to go yet. Right? So,
yep, you know what's going on.
But with that, I mean, when did you decide you're like, hey, you know what? I also want to get purposeful with the profit share?
Well, this is kind of a tough story, but I'll share it with you guys anyway. When I got super purposeful with profit share was also when my dad got really sick. So I noticed that, I had to step out of the business. My team actually, quote unquote, fired me during his illness before he passed. And as tough as that was, they let me go so they could take over and run the team, and I could do what I needed to do with my family, and they know I would have done the same for them. So I got purposeful about it. Then even and would start phone conversations, and I would start prospecting. I'd prospect expireds from his hospital room when he fell asleep, and then I would call other agents that maybe wouldn't know what was going on in my life that I was friends with or had done a deal with, and just start kind of some of those pre-screening, not interviews, but, conversations so that we could start forming the relationship for profit share. And, I had done it for a bunch of years, and our market center wasn't profitable for a bunch of years. So I actually had people in my downline and never received profit share. And now we're super profitable. So Keller Williams actually pays me now to work for Keller Williams because of profit share. Wow. So I had gotten Purposeful then. And the nice thing was, because it is the gift, when my family was going through their hard time, I was able to pay for all their flights, their hotels, and even my dad's funeral because of profit share.
I love that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that story. And again, you took a challenging time and turned it into an opportunity. What a testament to you, Jess. It's inspiring. And for all of our listeners, really pay attention to this stuff. I mean, that's beautiful. Why don't other agents, why aren't they more purposeful with their profit share? Like, why aren't they out there sharing this? What's the holdup?
Well, I think some of the holdup, and it's just in my experience, is that, and a lot of the other companies I know at Prudential, they would say, oh, it's the Kool-Aid, don't drink the Kool-Aid, profit share is a pyramid scheme, and all these other things. And it was really a limiting and scarcity type mindset because they wanted to just keep people there and based in fear, not because of what they actually offered. And so some of these people, when they come, and the biggest company I've actually recruited from is Prudential and Berkshire Hathaway, because I know what they don't offer. So it was very easy for me to build it based on that. So I think getting past their drunk monkeys and just really coming from a place of contribution, sometimes it's kind of like when you do a listing appointment, you compete against people. You never want to go into a listing appointment and have commission breath. So it's the same with profit share. In the end, the money doesn't matter. And if you do the right thing by people, the money will just automatically come.
Okay.
I think getting that knowledge is really the biggest asset.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. When I saw your post, I don't know, it's probably maybe 3 weeks, a month ago now, you were at 100. And how many people on your team, Jess?
We have 10 people on our team right now.
10, perfect. So 10 on your team. So that means 90 people you brought into Keller Williams.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe people have come and go over the last couple of years, and I get that. But what you're saying is you're putting this out there to everybody, man. Just hey, I love my company. We've got great opportunities. It's a win-win. It's a
win-win. The opportunities are endless, and honestly, once I realized that this could be one of those 5 pillars for a revenue stream for my family and I really got purposeful, and, I still need to improve and get even more purposeful on it. So that'll be happening in the next couple of months, hopefully when I remove myself from the listing aspect. And I can just kind of make that one of my main sources of lead gen activities. That's my goal.
So what's your profit share goal?
My profit share goal, I would like by next year to be making $50,000 from profit share. And if I'm able to, stop the listing aspect and go into training and coaching and training my team and just lead gen, by the following year, I'd like to be at $100,000 in profit share.
That's life-changing. When you're getting a check for $10,000 a month that shows up in your mailbox, I mean, that's just got to be phenomenal.
It's such a gift.
And Linda McKissick, obviously, you know who she is. She's our number one, I believe. I don't know if she's still the number one, but I know she's been the number one profit share earner. Just under $1 million. She may have broken $1 million now.
Oh, she's over.
Is she? Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. And I asked her, she's a one-thing trainer, just as I am. So I got to talk to her for a bit about that. And she had basically said the same thing you did, is just, hey, get in relationships with the agents, with the top agents. And, when they're ready to make a move, typically they're gonna consider you if you help them, you coach them, you invite them to your trainings, all that good stuff. But the other thing that she had said that really, I don't know, it kind of was like, wow, was an eye-opener, was that in her first line, she only has 35 people.
Right. You don't need 100 people in your first line. So I've recruited a total of 20 people to my first line. I think just because some people have transitioned and moved, I think we're at about 16 now. And so that's not horrible considering. And clearly I'd like it to be much better than that. However, what I've really gotten juiced up over is that the people within my downline, that are building theirs. So I can see the potential in how this could spider out and get so much deeper.
So it's not necessarily how many people are there, really. Just it's having the right people is I think the point that she was making.
Well, and to be honest with you, so I know Aaron helps run the profit share group that I had started on Facebook there, and I know that he focuses it a lot on newer agents because you never know who's the next rock star. And there's any way that you could do it. You could certainly do that too. I actually focused on getting because I figured that they would be more influential in bringing other people. And, knowing my own validity as a top producer in the area, I knew that I could talk to these people because they would see my results.
You are listening to One More Sale.
Are you willing to have a role play conversation with me? Can you give me a call? Let me know what that sounds like.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, great. And
I'll start now?
Yeah. I'll just be one of those other agents out there.
All right. Ring.
Hello.
Hey, David. It's Jessica Starr calling from Keller Williams. How are you today?
Oh, hey, good. What's going on, Jess?
Well, I just wanted to give you a quick buzz and tell you thank you because we just finished a transaction, and I have to say you were clearly so talented. Your team had everything together, and it was just truly a joy to work with a professional that had a big heart. So we don't come across that often, and it means the world to me when I get to work with other really great, like-minded agents. And I just wanted to call and give you some thanks.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the help with that. I'm glad it worked out.
That's one of the biggest things I find that we're struggling with today is actually having the agents that know exactly what they're doing and, can really get the deal done without stressing out the client. So what are you guys finding in the industry today?
Well, it seems like it's getting harder to get listings, that's for sure.
I know. I don't know if it's a presidential shift or if it's just a shift in the time of year. It definitely seems like that too. So how does your business work on a day-to-day basis? Do you do a lot with prospecting? Do you prospect expireds, or what are you finding success with?
Well, my team, we do a lot of expireds, FSBOs, and I have somebody honestly that's kind of handling most of that for us. So I think it's a prospecting based business right now. So we a lot of listings from expireds.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, do you focus on working your skill in your database too?
I probably not as much as I should.
Yeah. That was one of those big things. I know when my dad had been sick, I really focused on the expireds because they were unemotional and people didn't know me. And yet it was a big miss because my whole business had been based on my sphere and prospecting with my database. So we're actually getting back to that now because those expireds, they're getting tougher and tougher. And with the shift in the market too, they don't have the relationship. So I find the relationship-driven sales that we do actually tend to be an easier close. So I'd love to talk to you about it. You have about 15 minutes on Friday. I have time at 8.
Well, I honestly, Jess, I definitely appreciate you calling. I'm really kind of happy where I'm at right now. So, I don't know about, switching companies.
Oh, yeah. Actually, this has nothing to do with you switching companies. I just actually kind of wanted to spitball a little bit with you because I know I could use some help in the expired department. And I know I'm super successful in the relationship and sphere department. So I just thought maybe we could spitball for like 15 minutes on it.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. That sounds cool.
All right, great. And I promise no mention of Keller Williams. That's not my point in this at all. My point is just to try to get some new ideas for myself and probably yourself so we can be more successful during the shift. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds great. I appreciate that. Thanks for taking the time to do that.
All right, great. So how about 8 o'clock Friday morning at Starbucks in Simsbury?
All right, that sounds good.
I'll see you then.
All right. Hey, great work. And yeah, it was just conversational. You really came off to me as a person that was just calling, coming from contribution. Love the when we bringing it back to, well, hey, I just would love to learn about expireds and I'll share something with you. So creating that win-win and that works.
It's huge. And honestly, once people realize that you don't have, let's call it commission breath or just building the profit share. Honestly, the first appointment that I have with them, I don't necessarily talk about Keller Williams at all. I might talk about a training class I did However, I'm not talking about, what Keller Williams did for me. I'm just saying what has been successful in helping me build my business. So the difference with that is that if we meet again, we can certainly talk about it. However, usually by the time we're done with the conversation, they start asking me.
So what's the biggest challenge with this? I can tell you for myself, when I was more in production, it was my lack of patience.
Right.
Is that common, or I don't want to answer the question because I'm asking a question and answering it. So for me, that was the biggest challenge. What do you see as the biggest challenge?
So I would say the biggest thing when building your profit share tree, if you're recruiting a top producer, the newer people are more likely to just come in and sign. It's kind of like a just list me call, right? Because they can clearly see the difference so you have to relate it back to your real estate business. They can clearly see the difference in a great opportunity because they haven't been jaded by being at another company, right? And they haven't heard any negative feedback or anything like that. And so they can literally just base it on, this is a split, this is all you get with the training and education, and, it's almost a no-brainer. Whereas when you have an experienced seasoned agent, sometimes it's not about a split because business people, it's not necessarily always about a split. For me, it was about the systems, education, and training. And then when I was there and experienced, my husband's accident and all sorts of things, the culture really sealed it for me. So anybody that's a top producer, it would be what my experience has been anyways, and maybe somebody else's has been different, has been that it'll take them some time. It took me 5 years to come. I'm a slow learner. And in the end, it was them needing to show me what they could offer that could improve my family's life, because that's what mattered to me. So I think what it boils down to is finding out that top producer's big why and then staying in relationship with them. When they have, it's called the bad boyfriend or bad girlfriend syndrome, right? When something goes wrong at their company, you just want to be the first choice because you've been there in the background, you've been supporting them, you've been helping them and encouraging them. And so it's about building the relationship, and a relationship isn't formed in 5 minutes.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it is patience, grasshopper.
Yes. Sensei, I appreciate that. So listen, when I'm listening to you, it just kind of gets me thinking, with as many agents that I'm talking to now, and we're looking to build a region, we're looking to expand. I got a lot of really cool things going on. You're right. It's patience. It's getting in a relationship. It's also figuring out really what their motivation is, what their pain points are.
Right.
So in going, it's kind of like if you want to list an expired, you need to figure out what their real motivation is. Otherwise, you have no chance.
Right. And you're great at that. So the moment that you find out what their motivation is, you're going to have them, and you just need to work on that motivation. If somebody had figured out sooner that my motivation was to be with my family as much as possible, be debt-free, be with my family, all those things, I probably would have switched sooner. And I just think that the conversations at the time were not focused around that. It was just what we could give you. So, not everybody is driven by what you can give them because they know that they can earn it.
You nailed it. I mean, it's really about having those higher level, deeper conversations. And something you said in the beginning, which I didn't comment on, was being present, and being present with people is going to be the key. I interviewed Bob Lucido, and who's our number one agent. At least he was. I think he still is. And it's interesting when you listen to the interview, go back, a couple months, but he says, I asked him what his biggest challenge is. And he says, the biggest mistake I made was not joining Keller Williams sooner. So it's interesting.
And that's pretty much what all the top producers say. When they finally get that and they finally make the connection, that's pretty much what they all say. In the end, though, I think the people that are recruiting them really need to listen. They need to be present. It matters, especially if you're dealing with an I. It matters. If you know my kids' names, if you said, Jess, I'm sorry you lost your dad, if you said you saw it on Facebook, those are huge things for me, and I know that you care. So the moment I know you care, the moment I will give you my time because I care.
Absolutely. So Jess, in ending, we know you also, let me just acknowledge you for this. And am I correct? You have the top real estate team in Hartford. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, so again, congrats on that. Congrats on being so purposeful on your profit sharing and building this. And I just continue to just watch you grow and I'm inspired by it. So on our path to mastery, this is the final question. What do you want our listeners to take from this interview? Or what's the one thing our listeners should take from this interview on their path to mastery?
So my biggest advice for everybody, and I said this at the Chicago panel I just did yesterday, no matter what you do, if you have courage and be kind and you come from contribution in everything that you do, it will come back to you tenfold. So whether it's taking care of a listing and doing the right thing by them, sometimes it's telling them not to sell because that could be in their best interest financially and everything else, or it's being there for someone that at some point will probably change the company that they're at and move their career. You know, just be present for them, be their friend, actually care about people, and the people will care about you. It'll come back to you tenfold. So you won't even have to worry about the money. Just come from contribution always. Yes,
ma'am. And how, and I'd love to do this again and talk about your team because, I'm inspired to again, on your team. I'd love to reschedule something to talk about your team. But how do we get in touch with you for referrals?
Well, you know what? We cover a good chunk of Connecticut, and my team is separated into territories throughout the state. So if we don't cover it, we will certainly refer you to the best person that is. Feel free to use us as a resource. And we cover parts of lower Massachusetts near Longmeadow, East Longmeadow, Southwick area. So give us a call at 860-690-0679. Or you can reach me at Jessica Starr, that's with 2 R's, at starrealtygroup.com. And Starr Realty Group has 3 R's in a row.
This is One More Sale.
If you love podcasts, I'm certain you're going to love audiobooks. And Audible.com is the world's largest platform of audiobooks. If you're interested in checking out the book we talked about today for free in audio, just go to davidsfreebook.com. Yes, again, davidsfreebook.com will get you a free 30-day trial on Audible. And don't forget to check out our sponsors, Direct Mortgage Loans, at www.directmortgageloans.com, or feel free to give them a call, 888-604-2525. And don't forget to mention Path to Mastery.
You are listening to One More Sale with your host, David I. Hill, author of the Sales Playbook. Get your copy at www.thesalesplaybook.net.